Well, Western Sydney is on edge today after the vicious stabbing of Assyrian Bishop Mar Mari Emmanuel by an alleged Islamist terrorist, a boy of 16 years. The stabbing, which was live streamed as part of a church service last Monday night, provoked a riot and police were injured. Now, Pastor John Nammour pastors the Guildford Arabic Baptist Church, which is only about 3 kilometres from where the attack on his neighbouring pastor took place. John moved to Australia from Lebanon around 40 years ago, in part to escape Islamic violence in his home country, which was once a bastion of Christianity for over 2,000 years. Now, John is also a presenter on the global Al-Qama Arabic television network. John, welcome. How are people feeling out in Western Sydney after last week's attack?
Thank you, Lyle, for interviewing me. Thank you so much for everything. May God bless you for what you are doing.
Thank you.
Indeed, the situation was a bit hectic, but now it is a bit calm. But still, everybody is worrying about what is the next, what is coming after this act of terrorism. So hopefully, and we are praying that may God help us to stay calm, trust in the Lord, but still the situation is not very relaxing.
How did you feel last week when you heard the news of what had happened? What was it like out there for you and members of your congregation, which are only within a few kilometres of where this terrible event took place?
Yes. It's not easy, as I said. We need to stay vigilant. But you can't wait for someone who is doing or who is willing to do any act of terrorism. So that's why we trust that the Lord will help us. But of course, the police is doing their role, and they are always patrolling. Few churches around the area. But this is Australia, Lyle. Australia. We witnessed that when we first came. Everything was perfect. Everything was running smoothly. Peace. Everything was perfect at that time. Now we are worried. We left our countries to come and live here in a peaceful way. So may God help us. It's not easy, but may God help the police and the government as well.
Yeah, what do you think, John, has changed then about Australia? You've been here for decades. You came here to flee that sort of violence. What's changed in our nation?
I think extremism in terms of religious extremism. Whenever you are extreme in your views, even when it comes to religion, things, will be very difficult for everybody. Even, Christianity, if someone is very extreme, like if he or she adopted any extreme ideas, even in Christianity, it will be terrible. So whenever there is any idea which we follow, if we are not very well balanced, we might cause damage to others. So that's why we need to be careful how to breed those people.
Yeah. John, you've been involved for many years with the group Dealing with Diversity, which meets with senior government ministers, both state and federal, even prime ministers, very high-level meetings to look at how religions in Australia can work together in harmony, Muslims and Christians living together. What are the keys and what are your messages to government about how we can tolerate each other and have true diversity in Australia without the sort of acts of violence that we saw last week?
Diversity is good, and people are nice, and many people from different religions are very nice and approachable. But the problem is, whenever there is an extremist group, we need to tackle that issue. We need to be careful how to, sometimes, I find that the government is lenient because, this is the situation when it comes to election. Every MP, every person is caring about his own position. I need to please everybody. I don't want to ignite anything, that causes me to lose my, my campaign or election. But in both cases, that's what I believe, that all the parties should unite in this action, and they should not be lenient in this situation, because once it is allowed, when we allow for acts of terrorism to keep going, everything will be disturbed. Even the situation, even the safety, the Australian safety will be disturbed, and even tourism or the industry, anything, even the teaching, everything will be affected. So that's why we need to be careful how to deal with this issue.
Well, John, you talk about governments being too lenient, but you would have noticed since October 7 that there have been a number of Muslim preachers in Western Sydney, out in your part of the city, as Islamic youth centres, even at Lakemba Mosque, inciting violence, glorifying terrorism. Is that the sort of thing that you think the government should not be lenient on, and that they should crack down on these hate preachers?
I think they should sit down with the leaders, with the Muslim leaders, because many of them are very nice, many of them are approachable, and of course, definitely, young people are always, like excited, to do something, special, and so that's why, we need to deal with the leaders, and we need to say to the leaders, listen, you've got to do something. Other than that, we will interfere in a very more I can't say using force, because it's not easy to use force, but I'm sure that wisdom should be there how to deal with the issue, but we should not be lenient.
John, why do you
think? We should not be lenient.
Like you, I've met many lovely Muslim Australians, including imams, and they are beautiful, wonderful people, and I believe them when they say they love Australia and want to live here in peace. But it shocked me that there's been complete silence from the Australian National Council of Imams when it's come to October 7. They haven't condemned Hamas. They haven't condemned the hate preachers. Now, to their credit, when the stabbing happened last week, they did speak and they did condemn that, and that was terrific to see. But why are they often so slow to condemn violence and to condemn the hate preaching that's been taking place in their own Islamic centres?
Look, they are in a critical position. It's not easy for those people to say the truth, because if they say the truth, they might be persecuted by their own. So that's why, it's not easy situation. It's not an easy situation. And that's why the Australian laws should be very firm. This would enable everyone around to invest in that area, to invest with the Australian laws, because when the laws are very firm in punishing anyone who would disturb any community, anything. I'm not talking about religion only. Anything that would disturb the communities to live in peace, the law should be very firm, very harsh even. I cannot say harsh. There is another word, but maybe I cannot see it. I cannot remember it in English.
Yep.
But they need to be firm in that position. So everybody, will count to 10, even to 100 before they do any act of terrorism.
Well, I think what you're saying, John, is very clear. The fact that so much of this hate preaching that we've seen since October 7, and a lot of it's still online, hasn't been called out by political leaders or by Islamic leaders. That, I think, is the problem you're referring to. John, unfortunately, our time has got away from us, but I just really thank you for being a voice of peace and charity out there in Western Sydney. And you truly show a model of how people of the Christian faith and the Muslim community can work and live together in harmony. And we really appreciate your voice and the work you do for diversity. So thanks so much for being with us today on ADH TV.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.